deal with airplane peanuts.
Who's your best friend?
Ben.
Okay, but
What do you mean? Oh.
what happens when there's no pie left?
I don't think the fact that I work with him invalidates the friendship. Ben is truly the only thing I care about on earth. When none of you knew who I was and didn't really care, Ben thought I was really funny. Ben is my brother and best friend. I mean, Ben is the only person really in my life that I know will stay there forever because we built a thing. We've done well. I've made a lot of money, but you look at your life and you go, oh, I wish I had more relationships with people that I've let fall by the wayside. Show.
I'll be producing the Tim Dillon Show.
This kid believed in me when no one believed in me.
I agree.
When you didn't, when
I
Joe
still
Rogan
don't.
didn't. Agreed.
I'm not apologizing. You're acting like you're a victim of talking about the thing you chose to talk about.
I'm not a victim at all. It hurts me more than it hurts you.
Today is Tuesday, October 11th, and the Tim Dillon Show officially has their new producer. As of last week, Owen Roeder from Barstool Sports has stepped into the role held many years by Ben Avery. Welcome back to the Joke World Comedy Update. Every single Monday, bring you all the news you need to know from your favorite podcasts, your favorite comedians, anything and everything happening with the comedy world, all in one place every week. So make sure you subscribe to Joke World right now if you already haven't. Download this episode on Spotify to support the show, and go follow us on Instagram. If you send us a DM, we'll send you some free stickers right back.
I got offered something else I think I have to try, and I'm going to be doing that.
Do you want to say what you're doing?
Sure. I'll be producing the Tim Dillon Show moving forward,
which is kind of fire,
Kind of huge.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's huge.
Just can't say no.
and hopefully helping him work on some bigger projects moving forward and stuff like that.
Somehow it's only been 8 days since Ben Avery announced he's leaving the Tim Dillon Show, and actually a lot has happened in the past week. At first, it seemed like a mutual parting of ways, that Ben was moving on to do other projects and Tim was fully supporting him. But in the last week, there seems to be more negativity surrounding the situation. Most of this negativity stems from the Patreon episode that was released right after Ben resigned. Ray Kump was the guest, and he started off the episode by shitting on Ben pretty hard. Tim was kind of going along with it, just trying to make light of the whole situation, as he does.
He doesn't want to be a giggler. I got to respect that. You know, I respect.
Stay tuned for the next Ben Avery project.
Whatever it is. I mean, God bless him. And you know, it's not over money. So I do feel like I said, hey, here's a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Do something you don't love to do anymore. And because for me, I go do it. Take the money.
Right.
But for him, he has this morality and this code where he's like, I don't want to use you for money. I'm not happy. And I, you know, maybe I created a hostile work environment with, you know, and I'd say shut up to him on the show. Right. I didn't mean shut up. I meant I don't want you to talk. But it's a bit.
You made like a hostile work environment by like creating a show that was usually successful and paying him tons of money.
Yes.
It's very hostile.
It is bad.
Yeah. Much like, in my opinion, much like Jimmy Fallon, there'll always be a place in the business for Ben Avery. He'll land on his feet.
I think he will. And I am going to do my thing. It's still going to be a solo show. We're bringing in new producers. I hired a new guy who's really good. The show needed a little bit of reinvention because it was getting stale. And Ben, I think, quit 2 years ago, but he kept coming in. And that I respect.
Look, I mean, I kept hearing about like new ideas that were coming, new projects, and I was very excited. And one day maybe I'll see him, whatever. But no.
It seemed like Tim realized the episode didn't come off that great, that people weren't ready to make light of the situation, or they were surprised that he was already joking around about it and going kind of hard at Ben. So the episode was pulled down pretty shortly after it was uploaded, and then Tim posted this explanation.
I wanted to let everybody know why we took down the Patreon episode that we had just put out. When I came on the Patreon, I felt the best way to do it with you guys was to be funny about it, because the Tim Dillon Show has always been like a funny show. We've never really been serious on the show. That's not what we do. We say crazy shit all the time about everybody. And that's what we do. That's that's why you guys like the show. It's why we have hundreds of thousands of people listening to the show. But, you know, when we listened to the episode back, it felt callous and cold. And I love Ben, and I didn't want Ben to be hurt by the episode, which I think he was probably hurt by it. It was not my intention. All I wanted was to break the news in kind of a funny way. That's how I handle everything that matters in my life. I've never been good at being serious. I'm rarely serious. you guys know me well enough to know that like everything in my life, from my schizophrenic mother to my family issues, it's all public, and I deal with it 100% with comedy, which is not good.
It definitely makes sense why people were mad, but at the same time, as a Tim Dillon fan, how else do you expect him to react? He makes light of every situation in the world, whether it be serious or not. He tries to make it funny, tries to make fun of it. But this one definitely pissed off the fans. Some people are calling it the end of the show. Some people are saying that everyone has to mass unsubscribe. Even the most recent episode with Greg Stone, all the comments are about missing Ben, that Ben's ruining the show by not being on it now. And the like to dislike ratio is pretty insane, actually. 6.3 thousand likes and 5.3 thousand dislikes as of October 8th. So only 1,000 more likes and dislikes. The fans are definitely showing their frustration with how this whole Ben thing was handled, or the fact that he's just not on the show anymore altogether. The new producer, Owen Roeder, comes over from Barstool Sports. He was involved with The Yak and Son of a Boy Dad, two shows that I personally really enjoy, so I have high expectations. I think he'll do great in the role. He said he's been working with Tim, cutting up clips, distributing things for a few weeks now, which means that he was already in place, hired before Ben's announcement.
This wasn't like expected or plotted.
You didn't apply.
No, I had met him once, and
You met him a couple times.
yeah, and then got invited to see.
Oh, yeah.
And I was pitching him. My pipe dream was I had been writing a mockumentary, working to put all your guys' sketches in one place, and I was hoping to like cast him as like a small part. I don't know. It all happened.
It was very funny because we were about to record Son of a Boy Dad, and Owen was like, I got a call with Tim Dillon in like a minute. He's like, do you have like any ideas or anything you want me to tell him? And it was just like the complete opposite of what we expected the call to be. Yeah.
So it seems like Owen will do a good job. And as a fan of the Tim Dillon Show myself, I appreciate Tim going out and finding someone that looks exactly like Ben. Today is day 11 of Sober October for Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Burt Kreischer, and Ari Shaffir. And the whole gang was able to get together 3 days ago to record a podcast.
So like women are like fucking high-end IPOs like out the gate.
Right.
And men are penny stocks.
Yeah.
And then they invest like they kind of like a hedge fund. They look at these penny stocks like you were a hardcore penny stock, but you were. I remember you were gaining weight and you were fucking like and your materials questionable. It's like oh my god, no, but like Jesus Christ. But no, but I know I've known him so long that when Christina signed up for him, that was a risky investment. It was.
This year's Sober October challenge is to stay completely sober the whole month, obviously, do 100 push-ups a day, and do one workout a day that burns at least 500 calories. The episode that they recorded is hilarious. I definitely go listen to that right now. It seems like Ari's having the hardest time with the physical aspect of it, especially the 100 push-ups part. And surprisingly, Joe is having the hardest time with the sobriety aspect of it. He says he's missing weed this time more than ever. Also, at the very end of the episode, Tom and Burt gave Joe and Ari permission to eat an edible that night. They were going to a Roger Waters concert, and they were complaining that they had to be sober during it, that it was only right that they could get some sort of buzz. Joe was joking that he was going to huff paint before the show and hold his breath just to get literally any buzz. And Tom and Burt said, yeah, full transparency. If you eat an edible, you eat an edible. No one has confirmed or denied that this happened, but we did get this pretty cool picture from the night. Bobby Kelly's new special Killbox premiered 3 days ago on louisck.com. He's been making the podcast rounds this week, so far appearing on Flagrant, Skeptic Tank, Chrissy Chaos, Taste Buds, and Are You Garbage?
You came in with a certain jacket or a hat. I remember Patrice came in, he looked like he sold his own barbecue sauce. Billy Burr one night, one of the greatest smashings ever was when he was doing comedy on a bus to get World Series tickets.
Wait, like a tour bus?
No, on a bus to Yankee Stadium. So he would jump on the bus and they'd do stand-up. And then some people in the middle of his joke that stunt would pull the
Louis C.K. directed the special. It's available on his website right now for just $10, and you get access to it for a full 5 years. Guest spots from last week: Your Mom's House talked to Matt Brogner. Two Bears, One Cave was Tom and Greg Fitzsimmons. Whiskey Ginger had on Girls Gotta Eat. Greg Stone was on The Tim Dillon Show. Flagrant had on Bobby Kelly, like we mentioned. And Kill Tony was Dave Attell, Greg Fitzsimmons, and Ian Fidance.
You're out there delivering mail all around the city. Have you ever heard of the East Austin Comedy Club before?
Not once.
You ever get bit by any dogs?
Not yet.
But some have attacked?
The Chihuahuas chase you. They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about the Mexican ladies in the city. All right.
Theo Von in This Past Weekend talked with Scott Stapp this week. The Honeydew had on John Feidelberg from Barstool. The Joe Rogan Experience with the whole Sober October crew, like we already mentioned. And We Might Be Drunk had on Daniel Sloss. As far as new specials go, there's 2 recent uploads to Netflix: Nick Kroll's Little Big Boy and Hassan Minaj, The King's Jester. I watched this one with my roommate. It's very funny, and it's also kind of different. The setting is cool. He has a little PowerPoint behind him, so he's putting up images and other videos during his presentation. According to the description, the comic brings his signature style to the stories about sucking snot out of his daughter's nose, meeting Saudi officials, and becoming famous. And then, of course, Robert Kelly Kill Box is out now as well on louisck.com. That's it for this episode of the Joke World Comedy Update. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram. It's definitely worth it. We're posting similar content on our Instagram. Really trying to build that up. Please go follow us on Instagram. And download this episode on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts to support our show. Downloads are really the only metric that matters. So if you want to get this bigger and push it out, download it. If you want it to get smaller, if you want the show to get smaller, then don't do anything that I just said. But that would be rude. I think this is a good idea for comedy. Okay. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next Monday.